Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. Good evening. I'm your anchor today. In a complex web of international relations, several key players are grappling with fragile alliances and stalled negotiations. China's recent calls to open the Strait of Hormuz have raised eyebrows, while a US-Iran stalemate hinders peace talks. We'll delve into these developments and explore what's driving this precarious situation. From Tehran's nuclear program to Trump's assessment of Iran's state, we'll break down the latest on the ground and what it means for global politics. Let's get started. As tensions between China and Iran escalate over access to strategic Middle Eastern waters, Beijing's increasingly assertive demands are sending shockwaves around the world. China's calls for an end to Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz are a significant development in the ongoing conflict between Tehran and its regional adversaries. While Beijing has long seen Iran as a valuable partner in the region, analysts say that Iran is not a crucial component of China's Middle East strategy. The tensions began after U.S. forces killed top Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani in January 2019, prompting Iran to retaliate with missile strikes on Saudi Arabia and other regional targets. Since then, Iran has maintained its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway for global oil supplies, citing concerns over the safety of its naval vessels. China's ambassador to the United Nations, Zhu Haiyan, recently urged Iran to halt attacks on relevant facilities in the Persian Gulf and restore normal navigation through the strait. Beijing's position is seen as a carefully worded attempt to distance itself from Tehran's more aggressive actions while maintaining diplomatic ties with the Iranian government. The calls for an end to the blockade have been met with skepticism by some observers, who argue that China's true interests in the region are more closely aligned with those of its energy-rich Arab partners than with Iran. However, others note that Beijing's position remains consistent and coherent in its efforts to promote regional stability and security. Ultimately, the conflict over the Strait of Hormuz highlights the complexities of China's relationships with its neighbors in the Middle East, where economic interests are often at odds with strategic alliances. As tensions continue to simmer, it remains to be seen how Beijing will navigate these competing priorities and balance its relations with Iran and other regional players. As diplomatic efforts to revive stalled peace talks between Iran and its international partners hit a snag, President Trump has delivered a surprising assessment. President Donald Trump has revealed that Iran's leaders have informed him that their country is in a state of collapse as negotiations for a potential peace deal stall. According to reports, Trump was told this by Iranian officials during a recent communication, although the exact nature and channels of this message are unclear. The Iranian proposal, which is said to be currently under consideration, would see the United States lift its blockade on Iran's ports in the Strait of Hormuz, while leaving the country's nuclear program out of the negotiations. However, White House spokesperson Olivia Wales has stated that Trump will only make a deal that is good for the American people and the world, indicating that any agreement must prioritize U.S. concerns. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has dismissed this approach, arguing that it would merely allow Iran to buy time while continuing its nuclear ambitions. Rubio has emphasized that preventing Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon remains a top priority for the United States, with the secretary stating that any deal must definitively prevent such a scenario. The reopening of the Strait of Hormuz is also at stake, with around a fifth of global oil production flowing through the key waterway. Rubio has made it clear that this cannot be contingent on Iran maintaining control over the area, as this would undermine international norms and put regional stability at risk. The U.S. must ensure that any agreement is robust enough to prevent Iranian aggression or risk emboldening the country's radical clerical regime. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, a critical standoff between major world powers threatens to derail long-stalled nuclear negotiations and regional stability. The U.S.-Iran conflict has entered a critical phase, with diplomatic efforts at an impasse. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio signaled that talks between the two countries are deadlocked, citing Iran's deeply fractured leadership as a major obstacle to progress. Despite this, Rubio acknowledged that the latest proposal by Iran was better than what we thought they were going to submit. However, he emphasized that the U.S. will not compromise on its demand for Iran to abandon its nuclear ambitions. The standoff has significant implications for global energy security and the stability of the Middle East. The Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway for oil shipments, has been blocked by Iranian naval vessels in response to a U.S. military buildup in the region. This blockade has disrupted fuel supplies worldwide, affecting living costs and exacerbating economic tensions. Iran's diplomatic outreach to Russia has further complicated the situation. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday, securing support for Iran's war efforts. Araghchi also traveled to Oman and Pakistan over the weekend, seeking to expand his country's international influence. The U.S. response to these developments was swift, with President Trump announcing that he would send envoys to Islamabad in an effort to negotiate a peaceful resolution. The conflict has already claimed hundreds of lives and raised concerns about regional security. With diplomatic efforts stalled, the world waits anxiously for a breakthrough. The stakes are high, with the future of U.S.-Iran relations hanging precariously in the balance. A significant new study suggests that financial interests may be a major obstacle to a lasting resolution in the decades-long conflict between Iran and the U.S. The war between Iran and the U.S. has been stuck in limbo for months, with talks between the two sides seemingly deadlocked. At the heart of the stalemate lies a critical issue: money. The root of this problem dates back to Donald Trump's presidency, when he campaigned on a hawkish stance towards Iran, criticizing the country's receipt of billions of dollars under the 2015 nuclear deal. Trump's reluctance to loosen the purse strings has become a major obstacle in negotiations with Iran. According to Alex Vatanka, a senior fellow and Iran expert at the Middle East Institute, money is a big part of this. It's a key to any compromise from Iran's point of view. This sentiment is echoed by U.S. and Arab officials who claim Trump's unwillingness to ease sanctions is the primary reason talks are failing. Iran has proposed a compromise that would allow for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway through which much of the world's oil passes. However, this proposal does not address the nuclear issue, which many believe is less of a sticking point than lifting sanctions. According to a former U.S. official familiar with the talks, the hardest circle to square for Trump is lifting sanctions. My understanding is that this is more sensitive than the nuclear file. The stakes are high, as a resolution to the conflict would have significant implications for global energy markets and regional stability. According to sources close to the U.S. president, a shocking assessment from Iranian leaders has left Washington reeling and raised serious concerns about regional stability. U.S. President Donald Trump has stated that Iran informed him its country was in a state of collapse and was struggling with leadership issues. This claim comes as efforts to end the ongoing war between the U.S. and Iran appear at an impasse. According to reports, Tehran proposed delaying discussions on its nuclear program until after the conflict ends and disputes over Gulf shipping are resolved. However, Trump wants nuclear issues addressed from the outset. A U.S. official briefed on Trump's meeting with his advisors said this was not acceptable to the president. On Tuesday, Trump took to Truth Social to share his thoughts on the situation. He stated that Iran has asked him to open the Hormuz Strait as soon as possible in order to address its leadership crisis. However, it is unclear how Iran communicated this message to Trump. The situation has raised concerns among regional and global powers. The U.S., Iran, and other Gulf states have been engaged in a tense standoff over issues including shipping lanes and military deployments. The conflict has resulted in significant losses for the Iranian economy and has sparked fears of wider instability in the region. Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi has condemned Trump's views as hostile and unacceptable. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has emphasized the need to engage with Iran through diplomatic channels. As tensions continue to escalate, it remains to be seen whether a resolution can be reached that addresses both Iran's domestic issues and its concerns over regional security. And that's all for tonight's news recap. Thank you for watching. We'll continue to bring you updates on the latest developments in international relations, the Middle East, and more. If you want to stay up to date, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. We're committed to providing you with accurate, unbiased reporting. Until next time, good night.